In this video, we're going to be discussing overlapping. As you can see on the bottom graphic, regardless of the position that you play on your team, middle blocker, left side hitter, setter, opposite, libero, you rotate into one of the 6 big positions that we have listed on the bottom part of this video. The right back position, the middle back position, the left back position, the left front, middle front, and right front positions. You can also see we have a rotation wheel above the graph we have on the court listing the 6 different positions. So every time you rotate into one of these big positions regardless of the team position that you're playing. And you have to be concerned about or aware of what other positions you have to worry about overlapping with. The only positions you have to worry about overlapping with are the ones you share a common border with. So if you look at the right back and the right front positions, they share a common white border. That means the right back has to be slightly behind the right front at the instant of service. The right back and the middle back share that green border, which means the right back has to be further right than the middle back at the instant the service connected. The right front has to be to the right of the middle front because they share that red border. The middle front has to be in between the right front and the left front, and the middle front has to be closer to the net than the middle back because they share that purple border. The left front has to be slightly nearer to the net than the left back because they share that violet border, and the left back has to be slightly to the left of the middle back because they share that pink border. If the position on the court does not share a border, you don't have to worry about overlapping. So for instance, the right front does not have to worry about overlapping with the middle back, the left back, or the left front. They just have to worry about being in front of the right back and to the right of the middle front. We're going to take a look at some examples now. Here you can see the rotation wheel at the top has number 13, the setter, and right back. The libero, number 19, is at middle back. Number 1, the O2, is at left back. Number 8, the opposite, is left front. 16, the M2, is middle front. And 15, the O1, is at right front. So as they set up their serve-receive formations, the setter, 13, who is in right back, has to be slightly behind right front. Now please note, the setter, number 13, could be on the left side of number 15. She could be all the way over next to the libero if she wanted to, because she just needs to be right of the middle back and behind the right front. If the right front were all the way to the net, the right back, the setter, could go all the way up to the net with her. She would just need to stay right of the middle back and behind right front. So here we've got everybody set up. The left back is the O2, number 1. She's behind. Number 8, the opposite, who's left front. The libero is in middle back, number 19, and she's behind number 16. She's also in between number 13 and 1, the right front and right back. And number 16 is in between the 15, the right front, and number 8, the left front. Once the ball is contacted for serve, you can switch to any position. Here we have another rotation where the setter has rotated to the middle back position. So here you're going to have to look very closely because the back row is 15, 13, and 19. The front row is 16, 8, and 1. So 15 has rotated into the right back position. She has to be behind 16 and to the right of the setter, number 13. The setter, number 13, has gone all the way up to the net with number 8, who's the middle front. So she's got to stay behind number 8, and she has to stay in between number 15 and number 19 because she's the middle back. Number 19, the libero, has to be to the left of number 13, the middle back, and she has to be slightly behind number 1, who's the left front, who has dropped back into the passing lanes. So 16 is up there at right front in the upper right corner. Number 8, the middle front, has to be closer to the net than number 13 and in between number 16 and number 1. because number one's back in the passing lane, she has to be slightly ahead of the left back, in this case, the libero number 19, but she doesn't have to worry about overlapping number 15. So as we play this out, you'll see the setter starts to back up, so she positions herself correctly right before the time of service, right before the service contact. She positions herself correctly behind number 8 and in between number 15 and 19. You can actually see her looking here as she backs up. You'll see her looking to check her overlap position. She knows that she's behind number 8, the middle front. Here she is checking to make sure that she is in between the left back, number 19, the libero, and the right back, number 15. Here we are now with the setter at left back. She has to be behind number 7, the left front, and to the left of number 15, the middle back. Number 1, the middle front, has pulled herself back into the serve-receive formation. So because she's middle front, she has to be in front of number 15 and in between number 8 and number 7, the right front and the left front. She doesn't have to worry about overlapping anyone else. So as we're looking at her step back into the lanes, number 15 is the middle back. She's certainly ahead of her. And she has to be between number 8 and number 7. Number 8, the right front, is over there by the sideline, and number 7, the left front, is up there to the net. So she's definitely in between the two. Now the setter, number 13, in this situation, because she's left back, has to be behind number 7 and to the left of number 15. She's also to the left of number 1, but she doesn't have to be. So I'm going to grab her left back moniker there and show you she could move all the way over here if she wanted to before service contact. She just has to stay behind number 7, and she has to be to the left of number 15 at the time of contact. She does not have to be to the left of number 1, even though that's where she's lining up right now before contact. Remember, you only have to worry about the positions that you border overlapping at the time of service contact. Here's the next rotation with the setter at left front. The front row is 1, 7, and 13. The back row is 8, 19, the libero, and number 15. We want you to take a look at this and make sure where the overlaps are so that you understand this. 1, remember, has to be in front of number 8 and to the right of number 7. 7 has to be in between 1 and 13. 13 has to be ahead of 15, closer to the net than 15, and to the left of 7. The libero in the middle back position has to be in between 8 and 15 and behind 7, and 8 has to be to the right of the libero and behind number 1. As soon as the serve is contacted, you can go to anywhere on the floor. Once the point ends, you have to return to your big 6 positions. Here's the next rotation with the setter at middle front. The front row is 7, 13, and 15. The back row is 1, 8, and 19 are the libero. 13 has to be in between 7 and 15 and in front of 8. 8 has to be in between 1 and 19 and behind 13. 7 has to be to the right of 13 and ahead of 1. 1 has to be to the right of 8 and behind 7. 15 has to be to the left of 13 and ahead of 19. Here's our last setup with the setter at right front. Front row is 13, 15, and 16. The back row is 19, 1, and 8. Remember all the rules about the only overlaps you have to worry about are with adjacent players, players that you share a border with. Going back to this setup here, right back has to be behind right front and to the right of middle back. Middle back has to be in between right back and left back and behind middle front. Left back has to be to the left of the middle back and behind left front. Left front needs to be in front of left back and to the left of middle front. Middle front has to be closer to the net than middle back and in between right front and left front. Right front has to be ahead of right back and to the right of the middle front. So make sure you understand this setup so that you can move around the court and be confident that you know who you have to worry about overlapping and position yourself in the correct position.